The initial steps of the discipline involve a concentration, either in the heart center or in the mental center, as entrance pathways to reach the psychic being or the higher mental and spiritual regions above the mind. These represent a movement away from the demands, desires, and motives of the external being, and a shift of the awareness to the divine elements within or above. On their own, these forms of concentration can lead the seeker away from the earth nature, abandoning the external life entirely and devoting himself to the spiritual quest. For those who take up the objectives set by the integral yoga, however, another aspect comes into play. This objective is the total transformation of the external body-life-mind complex, such that it takes on the character and force of the spiritual consciousness and applies that consciousness to the evolutionary development of the next stage of consciousness that can change and uplift our normal human nature. Just as we see that life had a transformative impact on physical matter, and that mind had a transformative impact on physical matter and life, so also the next evolutionary stage has the potential, and in fact the need, to effectuate a similar transformation of matter, life, and mind through the application of the new powers of consciousness that manifest through spiritual development. In order to do this, the seeker now turns his attention to the external being and works to bring forward the spiritual knowledge and force so that it can begin and carry out that transformation process. Sri Aurobindo writes, quote, "The other side of discipline is with regard to the activities of the nature, of the mind, of the life self or vital, of the physical being. Here the principle is to accord the nature with the inner realization so that one may not be divided into two discordant parts. There are here several disciplines or processes possible. One is to offer all the activities to the divine and call for the inner guidance and the taking up of one's nature by a higher power. If there is the inward soul opening, if the psychic being comes forward, then there is no great difficulty. There comes with it a psychic discrimination, a constant intimation, finally, a governance which discloses and quietly and patiently removes all imperfections, brings the right mental and vital movements, and reshapes the physical consciousness also. Another method is to stand back detached from the movements of the mind, life, physical being, to regard their activities as only a habitual formation of general nature in the individual imposed on us by past workings, not as any part of our real being. In proportion as one succeeds in this, becomes detached, sees mind and its activities as not oneself, life and its activities as not oneself, the body and its activities as not oneself, one becomes aware of an inner being within us, inner mental, inner vital, inner physical, silent, calm, unbound, unattached, which reflects the true self above and can be its direct representative. From this inner silent being proceeds a rejection of all that is to be rejected, an acceptance only of what can be kept and transformed, an inmost will to perfection, or a call to the divine power to do at each step what is necessary for the change of the nature. It can also open mind, life, and body to the inmost psychic entity and its guiding influence or its direct guidance. In most cases, these two methods emerge and work together and finally fuse into one. But one can begin with either, the one that one feels most natural and easy to follow. Finally, in all difficulties where personal effort is hampered, the help of the teacher can intervene and bring about what is needed for the realization or for the immediate step that is necessary." End quote. Reference: Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, The Psychic Being, Soul, Its Nature, Mission, and Evolution. Section 4, The Psychic Being and Sadhana, pages 117 to 118.